George.
Thank you, Judge. Hello, Ms. Bass.
Can you hear me okay?
Try to
Yeah.
keep your voice up as much as possible. Speak directly into it,
Okay.
okay? So that everybody in the back can hear you, okay? The jury can hear you.
Okay.
You start by just telling us what your name is
My name is Adrienne Bass,
and how do you spell your last name?
B-A-S-S.
Okay. And do you know David Bass?
Yes,
Okay. Who is David Bass?
he's my husband.
Okay. And how long have you been married?
5 years.
Okay. Where did you reside in October of 2021?
In 185 Bay Hill Road in Northfield, New Hampshire.
Okay. And you resided there with David?
Yes,
Did you reside there with anyone else?
yes.
Who else did you reside there with?
My son Matthew and my daughter Emily, as well as Mr. Ferlazzo.
Okay. When was your daughter Emily born?
July 25th, 1999.
Okay. And when did Emily marry Joseph Ferlazzo?
October 10th, 2020.
2020?
Yes.
Okay. How long had they been dating when they got married?
Only a few months.
At the time that they got married, had you met Mr. Ferlazzo?
Yes.
How many times?
I only remember one time, but it may have been another time.
Okay. So did you know him well when they got married?
No.
Okay. When did they move in with you in Northfield, New Hampshire?
So Emily had moved back in April of 2021. She made that her legal address again, and then he moved in September 13th, 2021.
Okay. So Emily moved back in April. Where was Mr. Ferlazzo residing when she moved back in with you?
I'm not entirely sure if he was still in their Essex Junction apartment or if he was on the Lang's property.
Okay. Do you know the Langs?
No.
Okay. Do you know where they live?
Yes.
Where do they live?
Judge, can I interrupt for just a second and approach, please?
Okay.
Just to make sure everybody can hear you.
Sorry.
It's okay. Sure. Can you also spell your first name for us?
Yes. Adrienne. That's a lot louder.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to draw your attention to October 15th of 2021.
Okay.
Did you see Emily and Joseph on that day?
Yes.
And what do you recall about your interactions with them that day?
They were preparing to go on a trip to Bolton Valley, Vermont. And
Let me ask you what the purpose of their trip was.
yes,
What?
I'm sorry.
oh,
Okay. I think her breathing is picking up louder than than the words she's saying. It's not easy,
okay.
but we'll keep going.
On my nose.
No, I think because it's a little louder now, you don't have to be quite so close.
Okay.
Okay. They're planning on going to a trip to Vermont.
Yes.
And what was the purpose of that trip?
The purpose was twofold. One was Emily was excited to meet her sister-in-law, Nikki. She hadn't met her yet. And the other was to celebrate their 1-year wedding anniversary.
Do you know how long they plan to stay in Vermont?
Until Monday.
Okay. And did they intend on coming back to New Hampshire on Monday?
Yes.
Did you see them leave?
No.
Okay. Did Emily seem excited to leave? To go on the trip?
She was excited to see her sister-in-law, but it seemed to be taking longer to get the bus ready. So she seemed, I don't know how to describe it. She wasn't upset, but sort of just, what's going on, when are we going?
Okay.
So,
Anxious to go?
yeah.
Okay. Did you speak to Emily once they had left?
Through Messenger.
Okay. Do you recall when the last time was that you heard from her?
It was about around 7:45 that night.
Okay, and that was through Messenger?
Yes.
Facebook Messenger? Did you speak to Joseph once they had left?
No.
So you didn't speak to Emily or hear from Emily after 7:45 or 8 on Friday night?
Correct.
And did you hear from Emily at all on Saturday, the 16th?
No.
Did you hear from Joseph at all on Saturday, the 16th?
No.
Did you speak with Emily at all on Sunday, October 17th?
No.
Did you hear from Mr. Ferlazzo at all on Sunday, the 17th?
No.
Did you speak to Emily on Monday, the 18th?
No.
Did you hear from Mr. Ferlazzo on Monday, the 18th?
Yes.
Did he call you from Vermont?
No.
How did you happen to hear from him on Monday
He walked into our house
in New Hampshire?
in New Hampshire.
Do you recall when?
It was around 6 p.m.
Okay. And was Emily with him?
No.
Did you ask him where Emily was?
Yes.
What explanation did he give you about why Emily wasn't with him?
That they had an argument, and she got out of the bus on Route 2. He drove away to a gas station to let her cool off, and then he came back. She was gone. He had then said that she had mentioned something about getting an Uber, so he thought that's what she did.
Okay. Did he tell you when this happened?
Saturday afternoon.
Did he tell you where the van, or I should ask first, was he in the van when he came to your house?
No.
What was he on?
He was on the Ducati Monster motorcycle.
Okay. And this was in mid-October, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did he tell you why he wasn't in the van?
No.
Did he tell you where the van was?
I asked him 2 different times, and he told me 2 different answers. One was New Haven, and the other is at a garage of somebody, I believe, named Kurt.
Someone named Kurt? Okay. Were either of those locations that he gave you his friend's house in St. Albans?
No.
Okay. What did you observe about him when he arrived?
He was shaking. I interpreted that as he was cold because he had just driven from Vermont on his motorcycle.
Based on those observations, what did you say to him?
I suggested he take a shower, and then we would talk more about Emily.
Okay. And before he took a shower, did he give you anything?
He gave me Emily's driver's license.
How did that happen?
He had put his hand in his pocket and pulled it out and seemed surprised that it was there and handed it to me. And I believe I asked him why he had it, and he said that they had gone to buy alcohol and Emily gave it to him just in case they needed to see it.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's marked as States 2. Okay. You recognize this?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what this is?
That is my daughter Emily's most recent driver's license.
Is this the driver's license that Mr. Ferlazzo gave you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The state moved to States 2.
I have no objection, but I am having a little trouble hearing.
Okay. States 2 is admitted without objection. Why don't you bring it up? And just do your best to keep that voice up. And Ms. Jantz, if you have continued, let us know so
Thank you.
we make sure you can hear.
Jurors are also having trouble.
Obviously, the jurors, you can raise a hand if you're unable to hear in the back as well, because we want to make sure everybody hears all of the testimony.
When Mr. Ferlazzo was at your house, had the police been contacted at all about Emily?
Objection. Unless she's going to testify that he told her one way or the other whether they had been contacted, I don't know how she would know. And it's a leading question.
We'll sustain it as asked. Sustain the objection.
Were you aware of whether the police had been called?
Same objection.
Foundationally, we'll sustain the objection.
Did Joseph tell you that he called the police?
He did not.
Okay. And did you call the police?
My husband, David Bass, called the police with me.
Okay. And what police agency did you call?
I believe we spoke to both the New Hampshire State Police and the Vermont State Police.
Okay. And did the Vermont State Police ultimately speak to Mr. Ferlazzo?
Yes.
And was he at your house when that occurred?
Yes.
How long did Mr. Ferlazzo stay at your residence?
Until about 8 o'clock.
How long after speaking to the police did he leave your residence?
It wasn't very long.
What did he do while he was at your residence?
He took a shower. He ate the dinner that David had made for us. He obviously spoke to the police. He changed his clothes. Spoke to us, answered the questions that we asked him.
Do you recall what dinner he ate?
It was some sort of pasta and sauce.
Okay. And when he ultimately left, after speaking to the police, did he say why he was leaving?
Yes.
Why did he say he was leaving?
He said that he had work to do in Vermont. He had tattoos to finish.
Before he left, did he agree to anything related to his phone?
I believe my husband, David Bass, was able to get him to share his location. They shared their locations with each other. My intention was to help make sure that the sentiment was to make sure he got to where he was going safely.
Okay. And that was in Vermont?
Yes.
Did he leave on the same motorcycle that he arrived on?
No.
What did he leave with?
The red Jeep Wrangler.
Okay. And that was his Jeep?
Yes,
And it was at your house?
it was.
And how long had that Jeep been at your residence?
Less than a month.
Do you know whether he owned any other motor vehicles? Any vehicles, not motorcycles?
He owned the converted bus.
And I think, forgive me if you already answered this, do you recall what time he left your residence on Monday?
It was around 8 p.m.
Okay. And did you ever see Mr. Ferlazzo again after that?
No,
And did you ever hear from him again after that?
no.
Did you ever see Emily with a firearm?
No.
Did you?
Judge, these are leading questions. Did you ever see her with a firearm? Is a yes or no leading question.
There are certain, I'll overrule you.
Thank you.
To your knowledge, did she own one?
No.
Those are all the questions that I have for Ms. Bass.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Jantz, do you have cross?
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
And I understand and appreciate how difficult this is for you.
Thank you.
It's obvious to all of us how deeply troubling and emotional this is for you. So I'm going to try and do my best not to upset you any more than you already are. Are you picking? Am I being recorded?
I can't hear you clearly, so I'm guessing they can.
You can't hear me? Okay. I just was telling Ms. Bass that I appreciate how hard this is for her to appear today and talk about this. Prior to their, so I think you said you met Joseph once before she and Emily got married. Is that right?
Yes.
And I think you said that your impression was he was quiet. Is that right?
I don't remember if that's what I said.
You didn't dislike him, did you?
No, not at that point.
Did you? You liked him, didn't you?
I didn't know him at that point.
Well, you knew Emily liked him, right?
Yes.
And I think you said if she liked him, then you were willing to go along with that. Is that
Correct.
about right?
Yes.
So you had, prior to their marriage, you were not, you thought they were happy together. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Did there come a point when you thought that they were having trouble as a couple?
Yes.
When was that?
The New Year's Eve, 2021.
New Year's Eve 2021?
Yes.
I'm talking about before Emily's death, which was October 2021.
Sorry, October 20.
2020.
Yes, 2020.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying, helping me.
That's okay. What did you see or observe that led you to the conclusion that their marriage might be having some problems?
So it was a phone call from Emily near midnight stating that she had been in a fight with him and that he had pushed her and she was crying. And then later she went into a room to be by herself away from him. And
Something she told you?
yes.
Okay.
And
In this same phone conversation?
yes.
Go ahead.
And then she recorded herself in that separate room with him on the other side talking to her.
Were they arguing?
She wasn't saying anything to him, but he seemed to be upset that she was in a separate room from him.
What did you hear that led you to that conclusion?
I don't remember exactly what was said.
And after that, were there periods of time when Emily was considering divorce?
Yes.
But as far as you know, that happened more than once that she talked about a divorce, right?
Yes.
But they always reconciled, is that right as well?
Yes.
And you said that Ms. Joseph gave you Emily's driver's license in connection with the purchase of alcohol. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me? They drank alcohol together, didn't they?
I believe so.
Vodka and wine? Is that your recollection?
I'm aware of the vodka. I'm not sure about the wine or any other specific types of alcohol.
And this was when they were living in your house, correct?
Yes.
Do you know of any other times when they consumed alcohol? And if you do, how do you know?
Yes. That night, the New Year's Eve night, Emily told me that she'd had some vodka.
Vodka? Was it your impression when they were living in your house that they drank to excess?
I didn't see them drink a lot at all.
At all? Okay. So how do you know that they drank vodka while they were living in your house if you didn't see them drinking?
I didn't see them drinking excessively.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you for, okay. So, prior to the day that they left your house to come to Vermont, you testified on direct examination that Emily was upset that it was taking so long for the camper to be ready. Is that right?
Yes.
What did you see her say or do that led you to that conclusion?
She seemed, how to describe it, not necessarily frustrated, but confused as to why it was taking so long for him to get the bus ready. She said she thought that it was ready, but he kept doing different things in the bus and wasn't ready to go.
Okay, so you just said she seemed confused and frustrated. How did she express that? For example,
She told me,
She
she
told you.
said that she doesn't know why the bus isn't ready yet, I thought we were going to go at this time, and he's still doing things.
Was she easily frustrated in your experience?
No, it depends on the mood.
On the mood?
Yeah, what's going on? Is she tired?
I'm sorry. I didn't-
If she's tired,
She would be more easily frustrated.
sure.
I think that's normal.
Yeah.
Other than the phone call you've described to us where, of New Year's Eve, did you ever see Emily and Joseph arguing?
When he or Emily were driving me places, when she was driving, he would do things like grab the steering wheel on her, change the station, poke at her body.
So, I'm gonna use a word, he was like heckling her, is that right? Something to that effect, or is that too benign a word to describe what his actions were? Heckling.
I can say when observing that
Yeah.
situation, I was very concerned about our safety.
Okay. How did Emily react?
She was telling him to stop.
Okay. Was he laughing, or did he, for example, did he think it was a joke?
I don't remember hearing him laughing.
Okay. Did you ever observe any marks on her body?
Yes,
Did you ever ask her how she got those marks?
yes.
What did she tell you?
The gouges down her chest, she said that she acquired them from their dog. The arm bruise, the handprint bruise on the back of her arm, she would not tell me where it came from. And then there's many bruises on her thighs. She said that they came from rough sex.
Rough sex. Did she ever tell you that Joseph had physically abused her? Other than the phone call on New Year's Eve that you've told us about?
I don't recall.
So, you don't recall, or she never did?
I don't recall.
Okay. You'd remember though, wouldn't you?
I would think so,
Yeah, because you remembered the New Year's Eve call.
because it was New Year's Eve and it was a big deal.
It was a big
Like-
deal, and she's your daughter. So you would remember if she'd ever told you about any other instance. May I have a moment? I don't have anything else, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. George,
I don't have anything else.
thanks so much.
Judge, can we take a morning break?
What?
Morning break, please?
We should.
It's 11.
You can leave. You need to